Yes, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome by Prisa IAS Karol Bagh, Nai Delhi. We have started our answer writing series, how to write answer in the prescribed manner and in prescribed time limit. Time makes difference a lot. If you have allotted 8 minutes, 9 minutes in one question, then you will have to confine your time limit within that, and your watch should be before your eyes on the desk or table, whatever, so that you should not consume more time regarding that questions which answer is very satisfactorily remembered by you. You will have to keep in mind that time makes difference a lot. You do not put extra time, because whatever extra time you will going to be spent on that question, the score will not going to be high and high according to your time spending. So you should keep always in mind time factor. So we will straightforward, we come to the questions of 2022 UPSC Mains GS-2, that is Indian Polity and Governance. The second question, first one we have already discussed in previous days. The second question is very simple, but whenever you find that the question is very simple, in that situation you will be more cautious. You will have to be more cautious because it seems to be very easy, but that is not so easy whatever you have considered in your mind after reading that statement. The second question is just following on the line of that statement. The right of movement and residence throughout the territory of India are freely available to the Indian citizen, but these rights are not absolute. Very simple, but not so simple, because these rights are not absolute. What does it mean, absolute? Absolute means there is no beyond the boundary. Everything in that article is confined and restricted by some measures. You cannot say that I should be freely enjoy that right. Nothing in this world as a right, as a duty, or as anything is beyond restrictions, because everything, even your personal life, is not absolute right. You cannot do whatever you want to do. Clear? The absolute means कि nothing is absolute, nothing is absolute. Everything is divisible. So what does it mean? Means that there is a restrictions imposed by the Constitution of India. You will have to focus on two things: the right of movement. The right of movement is enshrined in the Constitution under Article 19 bracket 1 bracket D, and residence, कहीं भी निवास करने का, that is enshrined in Article 19(1) bracket E, and that is not absolute. It is controlled. It is being imposed restriction, that is called regional restrictions. Reasonable, region क्षेत्र वाला नहीं, reasonable restrictions, that is mentioned in 19 bracket 5. You can enjoy this facility, right of movement, across the India, and you can settle, you can make your house and domicile in any state of India. That is your fundamental right under article this and this, but this is not beyond the limit. There is restrictions, there is limitations put by the Constitution of India itself for the larger interest of the society, for the larger benefits of the society, because India does have so many varieties, so many diversity in the country, and each and everything cannot be open for anybody, because there is restrictions on the basis of that whether we are the larger society and the interest of the society, it has been put some restrictions. So what is the restrictions? Right of movement. You can enjoy पूरा जो है देश में घूमिए विचरण करिए, but there is restrictions under 19(5). and what is the restrictions? First, एपिडेमिक्स एरिया, जैसे कोविड हुआ था, अगर कहीं पे महामारी फैली हुई है तो वहाँ नहीं जा सकते, जैसे कोविड के टाइम हुआ था। तो एपिडेमिक्स एरिया, सेक्शन 144, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट जब आप बनेंगे ऑन दैट टाइम यू पुट सेक्शन 144। व्हाट डज इट से? यू कैन नॉट असेंबल इन ए ग्रुप, ठीक है, in that area where the section 144 is imposed, CRPC. Third is cantonment area, which is prohibited area on the basis of defense mechanism. Cantonment area, you cannot go there and just arguing that why should I not enter into that area. And the government's establishment like DRDO, where the scientific research and development sort of things is going on, in that area you cannot enter. Again, entry into the restricted footfall like President House, इवन नॉर्थ ब्लॉक, साउथ ब्लॉक, आप ऐसे नहीं जा सकते जब तक कि आपको। तो दीज आर द रेस्ट्रिक्शंस इम्पोज्ड बाय द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया अंडर आर्टिकल 19(5) ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट रीजनेबल रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, एंड दिस इज द कंडीशंस कि दिस राइट इज नॉट एब्सोल्यूट, इट इज रेस्ट्रिक्टेड, इट इज डिविजिबल, it is not absolute, it is relative. Second term is residence. पहले आपको मालूम था 370 जब था जम्मू कश्मीर में तो आप जमीन नहीं खरीद के वहां घर बना सकते थे, अब तो खत्म हो गया। तो ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन एरिया लाइक अंडमान एंड निकोबार आइलैंड, देयर इज सेंटिनेलीज आइलैंड वेयर ओंगी, जारवा, Sampan, Sentinelese. These are the name of tribes. Anthropology students can easily get it. So this area cannot be entered by you because the government has put restrictions to visit that area on the basis of that their cultural ethos should not get hampered. And when the people will fall down in that area, that tribals will feel discomfortable in their habitats. So that is restricted area. So you cannot even go into that area, or neither you can make any house etc. साहब चले 3 महीना रिसोर्ट बना के वहाँ रह ले, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। दूसरा, लैंड परचेज रेगुलेशन लाइक 370, इवन ऑन डेट there is restriction in Uttarakhand. You cannot purchase more than 200 square meter of land for one family for residential purpose. There is restrictions by the government of Uttarakhand. So for one family 200 square meter, but commercially it is not restricted, but for dwelling unit it is restricted. Second thing is that whenever you try to visit that area like northeast Sikkim and Arunachal, there is a restrictions subject to make permit for entering into that area. All these restrictions are on the basis of the larger interest of the society of that area. So all these activities, all these para point to be mentioned, to be written in your copy, so that it should make reflect to the point answer and you should get at least 6 to 7 marks on the basis of your expression. And so this is good enough. If you are writing in this way, there will be good score. Okay, any doubt? No doubt. Very good. We proceed further for the third question. Third question is also not so complex, but complexity derived by understanding of the question and how do you produce yourself on the copy, in the copy. So itself it is not so complex like question number 1, but I again repeating that statement, you should be more careful, you should be more alert. Please come. You should be more alert on the questions which is simplistic manner questions cannot be taken easily because there is a hidden agenda in that questions, and what to be written and what not to be written is to be kept in mind. Otherwise, that will be derailed. There will be problem how the answer to be written. So whenever simple question you feel that it is very simple, then you become more cautious. This is the background. I am again repeating whatever I have told earlier. So question number 2, you have got the answer ki how this answer will be written. We are coming on question number 3. To what extent, in your opinion, has the decentralization of power in India changed the governance landscape at the grassroots? क्वेश्चन को ठीक से समझ लीजिए पहले. हाँ, so you are aware about what is the decentralization of power. It was in the back route of 1958-59, 2 October, 2nd October 1959, Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, Nagaur district. All this history you are aware. There is no need to write such type of a story because that is not demand of the questions, but the people will always try to write the background of the from where this phenomena was started after independence. So that is not required. You know, I reflect that statement. It does not mean कि it is required to be written. No. तो सीधे सीधे आपको आना पड़ेगा क्वेश्चन पे because it is a 150 words question and you will have to confine your answer in 150 words. Otherwise, it will again a problematic. And the time allotted by that question 8 to 9 minutes average. If you are 250 marks and 180 minutes, you just divide and find out what is the time allotment. So to what extent, in your opinion, देखिए, this question is based on your opinion. It might be subjectivity perfectly. It means there will be variations of answers amongst the competitors, aspirants, because in such type of questions you will have to put your opinion, not put the opinion which have been published or which have been written in any textbook or any other common material. So what would you like to make it? To what extent, in your opinion, has the decentralization of power in India changed the government landscape at the grassroots level, मतलब local. तो आप सीधे सीधे इसको कैसे लिखेंगे? आप सीधे हेडिंग डाल दीजिए कि आफ्टर 73rd and 74th amendment in the constitutions, decentralization of power has been taken place in local level of India, and this is changed the governance landscape in following ways. क्लियर है? Just put the heading and after that you start writing. So there is variations between a state to a state. It might be possible that the Bihar is lagging to implement this decentralization of power, but it might be possible that the Tamil Nadu or South India state has emerged as a big boss sort of successful implementer. So you cannot impose the northern parts of concept where the Pradhanapati and Mukhiyapatis and just slogan of sort of thing is going on, and you cannot generalize on the basis of northern India's failure or partial success in context of the whole nation. Clear hai? So it is better to avoid that negativity, what impact has been taken place. So that negativity should not be written, although it is persist in your state. But the majority of a state is not in that conditions. Mind it, mind my language. So just or anything whatever you are going to write in your copy, that to be started in a positive manner, so that examiner should feel that you are positive persons, because life is always filled with the half glass and full filled glass. So after putting heading, you just start. First point, Rural Development Program, RDP. You can write this term, and after mentioning Rural Development Program, you write that MG Narega and whatever PDS system, TPDS system, Narega, Janani Suraksha Yojana, Jan Dhan Yojana, there are 7-8 type of schemes which has been implemented through Rural Development Program. Successfully, it is being successfully implemented and it is continuously going on, running on. So under this RDP, you mention all these activities. Clear hai? So change the governance landscape by RDP to participate in the decisions making approach of the activities. The localized fellow is empowered to take the decisions whether the schemes, which one scheme will be implemented under this, which project, which basic infrastructure, right, whatever basic requirements persist on that area, that planning and decisions is being taken by local body. That should be mentioned under this column RDP. Second is women empowerment. भैया आप हेडिंग लिख लीजिए, ये हेडिंग रहेगा तो आपके काम आएगा, समझ रही है ना? उससे क्या होगा कि आपको हमेशा के लिए हो जाएगा, बाकी तो एलाबोरेट यू कैन इजीली डू, बट द क्वेश्चन एंड प्रॉब्लम arises when the point does not come in mind to what to be written and what not to be written. If once you put your point in your mind, then your 70-80% problem gone, because she can also write what is women empowerment, but the question is that that term will not be come in your mind at that time. So second is women empowerment, and it will justify the governance landscape of at the grassroots level. How you elaborate it? Because women has got reservation, that is horizontal reservations, means reservation within reservation. Are you getting my point? Within reservation within reservation, the reservation is allocated to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and women's is not getting the separate reservation, that is not vertical, but whatever the horizontal reservation of SC ST is given, in that category this 30% or 1/3 reservation is persist. Clear hai? So by any means, if it is getting reservation is reservation, that is the matter of quantum key. If it does not comes under the verticals, within the verticals of SC, then this quantum would have been more, but it is confined into this reservation system within reservation, then the numericals will get reduced. This is the difference, not more than that. So you will have not, you are not required to highlight all these issues, but when I delivering the lecture, that points I try to cover and reflection to be that point. So women empowerment by reservation, this is the first thing. What else? What else? The decision making at local level is also contributed by these women, but you should just reflect in a one line that it is a regional variations of women's empowerment and women's role in decentralization of power, like northern and southern part, but you need to just reflect that, like Mukhiya Pati, Pradhan Pati, bas, not more than that it is required to be written. So examiner will feel that you are knowing what is the regional balances, imbalances going on in this decentralization of power theory. Clear hai? हाँ, तो decision making and regional variations, you just put one line कि there is a regional variation of women's empowerment on the regional basis versus regional basis on north versus south, where north is not developed, they are also suffering little bit by the Mukhiya Pati sort of concept. बस इतना highlight कर दीजिए, so that your answer will cover each and every aspect of the question, and on that basis you will get 1 mark extra, just putting this women empowerment. Clear hai? Third is social audit. Third is social audit. What is social audit? Water audit, social audit, energy audit, safety audit, building audit, everything is going on this terminology. What is social audit? Whatever allocations, whatever implementation, whatever plan has been made and it is being implemented, that gaps to be evaluated, so that the further any corrective actions is required to be incorporated. Bas, nothing more than that. So there is social audit. By this audit we know which sector and which segment of society is getting benefited, which segment or which gender is not getting benefited. Inclusive growth is, concept of inclusive growth is implemented and it is being going on or not. So there is a concept of social audit, so that the balance between the people to be maintained, check and balance to be maintained, that is social audit. Fourth is dispute resolution. Fourth is dispute resolution mechanism. Dispute resolution, where the 3-4 crores of litigations pending before the junior court up to the level of district court, how this problem will be resolved. So there is a concept of Gram Nyayalaya Act 2008, है ना? So that is being implemented in country. 245 districts has already been implemented. 12 states has implemented this Gram Nyayalaya Act, but there is lots of states is not implemented so far. That is separate thing, but the question is that the question demands कि गवर्नेंस लैंडस्केप को कैसे इसने चेंज किया है. Which one? The 1, 2, 3, 4 dispute resolution mechanism is inherent in that concept. Like Sarpanch, before that there was Gram Nyayalaya. This is basic common things, everybody is known for that. So Sarpanch is a concept that is elected by direct method, and his or her power is to listen, to hear the cases between conflict of amongst 2-3 people or whatever, and the authority of Sarpanch is to penalize by monetary terms up to 1000 rupees, but he or she cannot send that culprit, that accused, to jail. ठीक है? So that concept, dispute resolutions, is inherent, and the sorting out the problems of conflict amongst the villagers on the basis of whatever. And after that Sarpanch concept, this is Gram Nyayalaya Act. You just put this Nyayalaya Act 2008. It is also establishing the good governance amongst the villagers at the grassroots level. Clear है? Fifth is, got point? Fifth is localization of इसको मिटा ही देते हैं. Localization of fifth is localization of self-development group. What is localization of self-development group? Any guess? Localization of SDG. This is also getting positive sign, and this has changed the governance system at local level, at grassroots level, by decentralization of power, because people are taking planning stage, implementing stage, and execution stage, and after that the maintenance stage also. So this is the good governance at the local level. Whatever the work is planned and work is going on, that monitoring, that concept to commissioning is being taken care by the local people. सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट ग्रुप, क्या बोलते हैं इसको, एसडी? वो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप है, दैट इज, हाँ, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप, दैट इज डिफरेंट स्टोरी. एंड नेक्स्ट इज स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कैन, हाँ ये एक्चुअली ठीक है. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट, you know, bottom up approach. Good. Bottom up approach. ये 5 नंबर था, ये 6 नंबर है. बॉटम अप अप्रोच क्या है? The decision to be taken by the subordinates, by the bottom people, whosoever is on the base, not on the height. So that decision to be taken by the localites, it means the real democratic value is being established in the society at the lowest level, because the concept itself reflecting that the people at bottom level is doing all these things. That is concept of democratic value of bottom up approach. Opposite इसका top down approach होता है. After mentioning all these activities, you should write critics, because it is saying that to what extent, in your opinion, mind this sentence, I have started this terminology before commencing answer writing. So in your opinion, what do you think that should be also mentioned? Balancing between positive and negative, and the negative thing is that there is a authority invested in district magistrate, that he or she can suspend the sarpanch or mukhiya for 3 months. This is against the democratic value. First things. Second thing, there is a provision that the state government anytime can dissolve that panchayati raj system in that district or block or local level, and he or she, the state government, can allowed re-elections if the tenure has been remained more than 6 months. Clear hai? If the tenure is lesser than 6 months, then there is no need to re-election. This is the authority invested in governor, that is the state government. But question is that why you are suspending or dissolving that institutions, first thing. And if you are dissolving that system, then re-elections should be taken for the 5 years, as in the case of a state and parliament. Why are you not treating that institutions which is also a democratic organization and democratic value system is prevailed? And if you are allowing re-election, then the tenure will be the leftover period of 5 years. Suppose you elect in 2020 and your tenure is 2025, and government dissolve that 2024, then re-election would be valid only for 1 year. So 3-4 point is so detrimental, is so negative points against the democratic value system of the governance. You must be right. ठीक है? और इसको लिखने के after mentioning these things, you should write that there is need of demand, there is need of vibrancy, that it should be get amended, these laws, so that the value system, the values of local governance at the larger interest of the society should be established in their right spirit. That's all. खत्म. जरा पंखा चलाओ. Clear है? Any doubt? अब इसमें होता क्या है कि आप इतने पॉइंट लिख के कवर नहीं करेंगे. पहली गलती तो ये है. The first and foremost mistakes the people generally doing, that they will not go in this manner of points and bullets and elaborating of that bullets. Good. And second thing, the people will focus on the regional variations. If the aspirants belong to the UP and Bihar and northern part, he or she will criticize this scheme, because there is lots of criticism is going on. Role conflict, political election conflict on the basis of caste and so many factors. There has been cases where the Mukhiya and the prospective candidates has been killed. There is lot of cases in UP and Bihar. So this is the things. So you should not, you should mention 2-3 in one line, but it is not the only reflections of local governance, na. But the people will focus on that manner. So this to be written in this way, so that your answer would be get benefited, and after that you will get good marks. Next, the third is discuss the role of the Vice President of India as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. That is not so tough, but again I am repeating, whenever you feel that the question is easy, then you will be more cautious. Don't take it as a simple, and don't take it as a khilona twice. That will be more problematic. Because why it will be more problematic? Because there is no need to put your brain in depth to what the answer to be written. Simple question. Discuss the role of the Vice President So this is the discuss the role. अब you can imagine कि this is very easy question, whether it is easy only for you, then what is the difference? You will have to create your signature, you will have to create your value, and how this value will be created in answer writing? Any guess? I am telling you that point. These questions, whatever the questions has been taken into that examination by the question setter, there is 90% to 80% probability that it has already been in somewhere in news and something is associated with news. In that perspective, you will have to write the answer. That's why I was taking class of the Hindu news analysis daily. I stopped that because there was no demand. So that Hindu news analysis will be keep in your mind, and that will be benefited to write the answer, because every person's answer will be the same, but you will have to create your signature to get the good mark 6 to 7. In that situations, after writing all these duties, you will have to and or either and or you will have to start by keeping that incident in your answer sheet. And what is the episode? Episode was like that: Rajya Sabha chairman, that is vice president, has suspended many member of parliament on the basis of their misconduct in the house. That's why this question has been erased. And if you are not putting that episode, then your score will not be more than 3 to 4 marks. Because in books, each and every activities has been written, and everybody knows, he also knows, I also knows, you also know. This is the duty. Yes, if you are not connecting that episode either in last or in initial, then you gone. समझी? इसे कहते हैं आंसर राइटिंग और इससे कहते हैं सिलेक्शन. अब आप पूछेंगे, you will ask me कि how you are aware about that methodology and strategy. It might be your subjectivity. How I should consider it? Your bakwas, your anything. Anybody can put question, because that is not objectively written anywhere. This methodology would be useful for you. Why are you teaching such a manner? And why should I consider your opinion that I should write this in this way? Because there is a lots of newspaper, and this is the potha sort of things in my room. So I am recommending that there is no need to go through all the materials of any newspaper. But whenever I was teaching that Hindu, in the whole newspaper I select only 2 or 3, not more than that, and only 2-3 out of 2-3 per episode, only 8 to 10 terms, words, not more than that. So you just make न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग एज सब्जेक्ट वाइज, डेट लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, और उस सब्जेक्ट वाइज में सपोज आप चैप्टराइज कर दीजिए, सिलेबस में है, एंड यू पुट दैट एपिसोड जस्ट टर्म, सो दैट व्हेन एवर यू जस्ट गोइंग रिफ्रेशिंग योर सेल्फ, देन योर पिक्चर विल बी जस्ट क्लियर. अच्छा, ये हुआ था, ये हुआ था, ये हुआ था. और ऑल दिस मटेरियल विल बी कवर in one page for a month, not more than that. One page, both side, in a month. मैंने करके दिखाया है. अब आप इतना मटेरियल, हाउ कैन यू हैंडल इतना मोटा ऑफ मटेरियल्स? देयर इज नो लॉजिक, देयर इज नो रैशनलिटी, यू कैन नॉट हैंडल योर सेल्फ. तो you will have to write that aspect, and I am recommending that by putting that aspect you will get more marks rather than 4 at equal of each and every, because each and everybody is known what is their duty and rights of. So that just put that statement and you will enhance your value system in the answer. So that Rajya Sabha chairman suspended many MPs for disturbance of the house proceeding. But the question, keep in mind, they cannot remove from the permanently remove from the house. They can only suspend for this session 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So that is the major chunk, and if you are quoting that, that will be better answer. Fifth, आओ कितना मिनट हो गया भाई? 41, ठीक है. The fifth is discuss the role of the National Commission for Backward Class in the wake of its transformation from a statutory body to constitutional body. देखिए, this was the question because no, just for the proceedings, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. If the session adjourn and scrape out or wind up next days, then they will not be remain suspended for the next session. That is 1 day, 2 days. That is that. Okay. So that in that case they will have to take the permission from governor or president. There is provision. I am not sure how many days or how many years, but there is a prescribed time limit. Once the controlling officer or establishment officer is taking decision to suspend, then there is a prescribed time limit that cannot go beyond that, but subject to condition that the approval of the higher up, it can be in civil services cases, there is provision after 90 days, if you are going, if you are in continuance with the suspension, then after 90 days the committee will see whether the suspension to be continued or not. Okay. Yeah. A state government is empowered, governor is empowered to suspend. Okay. Yeah. Exactly, but there is a provision you can suspend, but you will have to take the counter permission from the President of India. In one stretch, it will not be more than 90 days after getting the confirmation by the President. 90 days, one go, it is 90 days. After that, you will have to again review by the committee appointed by the President, because the person who has recruited you is only authorized to take the decision, to take the disciplinary action against you. The person who is lower than the recruiting officer cannot make you suspend or remove or discharge from the duty or whatever. तो इसीलिए जब आप नौकरी में जाते हैं तो बाबू क्लरिकल लेवल स्टाफ्स recruitment letter should not be signed by SDM or DM. Otherwise, whenever any disciplinary case will be arises, in that situations, at least at the rank of SDM who was a DM who was the recruiting officers can only be empowered to take the decisions of his or her removal or dismissal or anything, or more than that. इसीलिए तहसीलदार से कराया जाता है, so that बाबू है ना, he is simple clerk, his boss is नायब तहसीलदार. This is the system. So because the president is the recruiting authority and the letter of joining letter is itself mentioned that the President of India is pleased to appoint you in a in a Indian administrative or Indian revenue whatever service. Sentence is starting like this: the President of India is pleased to appoint you as a member of Indian administrative service. It means कि whatever the action is required, that will be concurred by the President of India. ठीक है? So this is the discuss the role of the National Commission for Backward Classes in the wake of transformation from a statutory. देखिए, आपको इसमें सिंपली ये लिखना है, इसका बैकग्राउंड यू आर अवेयर, कुछ मिस्टेक्स हो गया था सरकार से, वो स्टेट को ही दे दिया था पावर कि स्टेट इज empowered to decide who will be in the backward community, which caste will not be in the backward community. All this tussle was going on, but now it is settled by 105th amendment of constitutions. है ना, यही है ना, 105th constitutional amendment. ठीक है, after मैंने by 105th constitutional amendment it has been decided by the parliament that the NCBC is not a statutory body, it is converting into the constitutional body. And what is the difference between both? The difference between constitutional and statutory, because it was earlier a statutory. Are you getting? What is the difference between now transformation from a statutory body to constitutional body? What makes a difference by transferring themselves from this to that? Just put your mind. Parliament passed the bill. Okay, it is emerged, it has been built, it has been made constitutional body. Then what will be the benefits of NCBC to get promoted from a statutory to constitutional? Constitution has the right to take whatever the decision itself. वो तो पहले भी कर सकता, बीइंग स्टैट्यूटरी नहीं कर सकता. इसमें जो मेन डिफरेंस है, दैट इज after conversion in constitutional body, their right to summon and punishment earlier it was not. Whenever any institution becomes inconstitutional, then it has been legalized, it has been empowered to summon anybody, any officers, any chief secretary, any cabinet secretary, government of India. He is empowered to call you and make any explanation like a court, and even he or she can put punishment, suo motu cognizance. इट मीन्स कि उसको जो है एक तरीके से जुडिशियल स्टेटस मिल गया. तो मेन फर्क यही पड़ा है. तो आप इसकी ड्यूटी में सेफ गार्ड ACBC लिखिए, सोशियो एजुकेशनल बैकवर्ड क्लास, उसका सेफ गार्ड. कंप्लेंट इंक्वायरी, वट एवर द कंप्लेंट कम्स बिफोर दैट NCBC, he or she will inquire that matter as a legal entity, as a judiciary. And after that, if he or she is found that any anomaly is persisting, in that situation he can take action as a judicial authority. Power of civil court, but he cannot send jail. Civil court power, not criminal court. Or his advisory role regarding SCBC to the concerned state would be mandatorily to be followed, to be bound. तो ये फर्क पड़ा. But my question is that this is the simple thing. But what makes a difference? What makes difference by converting him from a statutory to constitutional, unless until it has not been facilitated or institutionalized by the गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. आपको जज बना दिया, वेरीफाई, आपको पावर भी दे दिया, बट इफ देयर इज नो रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल, in that situation you will not function. But mind my statement, this is not required to be written, because this has not been asked in this question. Clear hai? You will have to put the point, that is safeguard of ACBC, complaint inquiry in a judicial manner, president's report sending to president for taking cognizance about the improvement of ACBC, civil courts power like that, and consultancy to a state. 5 पॉइंट मैंने लिखा है, that to be written and that to be elaborated. Yes. But apart from this question, beside these questions, this is required to be known that what is the constitutional and what is the statutory. You are aware, but there is a major difference between both the concept, that constitutional body cannot be scrapped by parliament in a one go. There is a procedure for eradication or eliminations of the article, that to be governed, that to be taken care of by that procedures. Whatever government desires, I will dissolve this institution, they cannot do that. Executive does not have any power. Clear hai? They will have go to the procedure of article 368 amendment procedures. So that has become more powerful. You cannot remove me in a one go. And when it was the statutory body, I am president, I am prime minister, and my mood has become eruptive, disruptive, and by executive just brought a bill, simple bill, and 50% plus 1, that is my authority, and at one go, at one stretch, within a minute, I will pass the bill that this organization, this act to be finished. खत्म. समझ गए? क्यों लक्की? समझ गई? This is the major difference to be as a constitutional body or to be as a statutory body. This is the major concern. अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता है कि ये इसमें लिखना पड़ेगा आपके आंसर में कि अब गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट रिमूव दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एज हिज और हर मर्सी. That is the procedure laid down, and this procedure of 368 would be applied. This is also remarkable answer to be mentioned in last or first, wherever you try to write. ठीक है, आगे चले. लास्ट क्वेश्चन 6. The Gati Shakti Yojana needs meticulous coordination between the government and the private sector to achieve the goal of connectivity. Discuss. Just you will have to discuss. Nothing has to require. So earlier I was telling that why should you adopt my suggestions, that should also be quoted, otherwise you will not be get benefited. Again this problem will come here. How can you say that this answer to be written in this way? Whatever you are suggesting, I am not agree with your advice, because there is lots of reason. You can put hundreds of reason. Again this problem is coming. But लकी, जब कोई चीज अखबार में हम कहेंगे तो आप ब्लाइंडली यू एक्सेप्ट इट. whenever any articles you are reading in any newspaper, that is Hindu or anything, you accept it drastically by blind eye, without raising any if and but, without raising any questions. This is not acceptable. I refused so many times in Hindu, and I taught just reverse engineering. That this fellow, whatsoever professor is written, this is his or her personal opinion, but I don't agree because on this ground, and this should not be followed. Okay, bye. No need to read and write and wasting your time. So my suggestion is whenever the persons, whether it is associate professor having experience of 3-4 years, and when he or she writes any articles, you accept as a face value, on face value, that it is a sacrosanct. But when you write, you write, that will be the same acceptance. But when you teach in the class, people will say, why should I accept your advice? But when I write these articles in the newspaper, and by making my identity that I am so and so, the values of that articles goes up. He is IAS officers, he has written in such a brilliant way. There is a paradox between both the activity. That's why I am suggesting that you should, or anybody should, get it in the right spirit, that the experience and methodology of governance system he knows better than us. Khatam. So this is the GCT. What is GCT? Gati Shakti Yojana. What is Gati Shakti Yojana? You will have to know what is Gati Shakti Yojana. Meticulous coordination चाहिए between the government and the private sector, means PPP, to achieve the goal of connectivity. What is the connectivity? This is very tough question. This is very tough questions, because to understand the question is not so easy. Why it is not so easy? Because this concept has been driven by the government in this 22-23. 15 अगस्त को 2022 को प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बोला था, स्कीम लॉन्च हुआ था अप्रैल में, और ये स्कीम क्या है ये पता है, इसके बावजूद भी प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि इट इज़ एन नेसेंट स्टेज, न्यू स्कीम्स. और बाय डिफॉल्ट आई वाज द मेंबर ऑफ दिस स्कीम, गति शक्ति कार्गो. आप थोड़ा सा इसके बैकग्राउंड में जाइए, सो दैट यू शुड नो बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन. बैकग्राउंड इज there is lots of problems facing by each and every ministry on the ground of coordination problem. And when Gati Shakti cargo terminal was in under consideration to government, in that time it was feeling that the logistics sector, logistics means no, what is logistics? That is combination of transportation, warehouse, गुड्स तो होगा ही होगा, उसका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, वेयर हाउसिंग, क्लियर है. एंड थर्ड वन, मल्टी मोडल कनेक्टिविटी. दिस इज कॉल्ड लॉजिस्टिक. आपको मज़ा नहीं आ रहा मुझे लग रहा है. एनी प्रॉब्लम? ओके. So logistics sector was facing lot of problem in this country, because nobody is going to be taken cognizance in a single problem solving. ठीक है. अब आपने you have already heard in newspaper that the lots of food grains is spoiling in open space of the railway siding or any other godowns. Lack of infrastructure, and you will be surprised to know that there is a lack of jute bags for keeping that food grains in the storage. So this is the problem. So this problem was facing by FCI prominently. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी इस पे कई बार बोला कि इतना बर्बाद हो रहा है, इसको कुछ करो. तो हुआ क्या? Transportation was carrying out by railway, but logistics का other part, that is warehousing, was not so good, although there is a warehouse corporation of India exists. And third one, multimodal logistic was not available, because the things to be sent from A to B, that is not only transportation, but it is transportation by rail or road, and after reaching that destination you will have to again see the road infrastructure or road transport. If any consignment is coming from abroad, that will be the waterways, and after reaching at the coast you will have to use road for transport. In the same situations in the railway system, after reaching at destination you will have to use road. So that is a requirement of integration. The surface approach road was not in the good conditions, road was not in the good conditions. Exactly, you can see गति शक्ति इज ए नेशनल ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम, बिल्कुल सही बात। तो इसके बैकग्राउंड में ये हुआ कि इसके वजह से, इंटीग्रेशन नहीं होने की वजह से आपको क्या क्या नुकसान हो रहा था? द कॉस्ट ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक्स वाज हाई, एंड दैट हाई is contributing 13% in GDP. It means I am discussing about the background. I have not reached on the answer. This is the background. 30% in GDP it was contributing. Due to this, the cost price of the goods got high, and when it gets higher and higher, in that situation the export gets affected because the higher cost of your product. In a developed country its contribution is only 4-5%. तो गवर्नमेंट ने सोचा कि इसको कैसे कम करें। अब आइए आप आंसर पे आ गए आप, ठीक है ना। अब आप आंसर पे आ गए तो गवर्नमेंट ने सिंपल ये बोला कि देयर इज नीड टू कैटर दिस कंसेप्ट अंडर वन रूफ, अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स, एंड मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स will working as a coordinator, main organization, and all the activities pertaining to this like railway, agriculture ministry, shipping ministry, airways, civil aviation, all this come under the one single umbrella, and the duty of all the ministries will be the coordinating with the Ministry of Commerce. And the question directly related that the coordination needs meticulous coordination between the government. This is the picture. Why this was required? Because the background I have already told you. To achieve the goal of connectivity. Connectivity means it to connect each and every mode, rail, road, water, air, all these modes to be connected. That is the connectivity. Meaning of connectivity is this, but people will not get acquainted what does it mean of connectivity, and what the question desires to say ki what is the connectivity, what should be connectivity, and question you cannot digest, you cannot get assimilated with this question. Am I clear? So earlier, before mentioning my answer, you will not be comfortable to know to achieve the goal of connectivity. What bloody connectivity? Because it is not saying that the connectivity between the different modes of transport. The question is Gati Shakti, but the Gati Shakti scheme directly advocates on the basis of the connectivity of the different modes. So that is a interconnectivity, but it is not explicitly mentioned in the question. ठीक है ना। So this is tough question, because when you are not understanding the question, then you will not be able to write. So this was the background. You can easily write down what is the Gati Shakti Yojana and why it is focusing, because the coordination is not up to the mark, and private sector, yes, इसमें private sector भी डाल दीजिए, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग टू से दैट द यू शुड कम एंड बिल्ड द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड एंजॉय द फैसिलिटी ऑफ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम, इसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, फ्री में क्या देना है, पैसा नहीं लेना है, किसकी लैंड भी देना है फ्री में, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं। और इसमें पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ स्टेट, यस, एक चीज़ इसमें ये भी था, स्टेट। तो इतने लोगों का कोऑर्डिनेट करना है और साथ में प्राइवेट सेक्टर को भी लाना है, और ये काम मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इसका है, और उसका गोल क्या है, कनेक्टिविटी ऑफ ऑल द मोड। You can easily write. अब you can write the point I have summarized why it is launched and why the coordination is required. So first you will have to write interministerial coordination. Second, private participation. तो गोल ऑफ कनेक्टिविटी ऐसे ही तो मिलेगा ना, द वे। प्राइवेट पार्टिसिपेशन। थर्ड इज एक्सपोर्ट इनहेंसमेंट। अगला पॉइंट लिखिए, कॉस्ट कटिंग। कॉस्ट कटिंग इन ट्रांसपोर्टेशन और एक्सपोर्ट, इनहेंसमेंट ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट। multimodal logistic park, that is MMLP, with the help of private and, इतना बहुत है। तो गति शक्ति की आवश्यकता जो है इस योजना की, मेटिकुलस कोऑर्डिनेशन इसके बीच जरूरी है वो बताया, प्राइवेट सेक्टर के साथ जरूरी है ये बताया, और इस सब करने के बाद उसका अल्टीमेट द गोल इज to achieve the goal of connectivity. To achieve the goal of connectivity means all mode of transport to be connected with each other, so that the comprehensive master transport plan to be established. Clear है? Okay, thank you, goodbye. फिर मिलेंगे कल आपसे, see you tomorrow. तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, थैंक यू।